this is my technical presentation for Capstone II. I'm talking about NextJS, which is an all-encompassing, opinionated, no-config JavaScript framework. So we're using NextJS in our team's project. Like I mentioned, it's an opinionated framework. It focuses on kind of doing a quick no-config setup. It's immediately ready to go, and it's very fast. So you're just running a simple command here with yarn or npm to create your next app. Gets you going. You're going to immediately get access to a few scripts, and we're going to break down what all these scripts do, but the main four you get are dev, build, start, and lint. So NextDev is a big part of what Next is about. It's the development mode that gives you hot reloading, error checking, just general modern web compilation stuff that keeps you going quick. Next build is how you build your app for production, and then next start is where you can test that the production build works properly before deploying it to a platform of your choice or using Next's proprietary deployment platform. And then Next Lint is just using Next's built-in ESLint tool. So Next is very much an easy page tool. It makes it so that you're simply playing off of React components still, either using JavaScript or TypeScript, and the code is the same as always here, which is great if you're used to React. The nice thing is that it kind of builds upon what React does. It pre-renders pages, making them much faster than they are in vanilla React. So essentially what it does is it generates the HTML before the browser engine has to. This makes it so that your pages are going to be faster and are more discoverable by SEO for search engines like Google or DuckDuckGo. Your pages are essentially minified, and when they're loaded, they go through a process called hydration, where they're actually brought to their interactive state using React. One of the nice things about Next is it makes page routing very simple for you, instead of having to think about it or use tools like React Router. So index.js is turned into your root of any directory, so index.js here becomes your root, index.js of the CSE 486 folder becomes root, and then you can also see here how it creates paths dynamically. techpres.js becomes a path in the CSE 486 area. Dynamic routing is also possible, which is a great, very useful tool within Next.js. Dynamic routing allows you to create parameters that quickly redirect pages. Here's a quick example just showing like if you're going to have a sprint folder that redirect to different retros. Page links are very sane and simple. Again, this is something that kind of is a lot easier than your usual React router, which is nice. You just use the built-in Next link component, and then you're able to quickly derive links, similar to how you use A tags. Just kind of wraps those. So why bother? Next.js is very fast, right? It's using Webpack and Babel. It is making use of fast refresh, which is a part of the React codebase that allows you to hot reload only components that are being edited. So instead of recompiling the entire project, you're only going to recompile the component that was changed, which in turn is going to make your code reload faster and also preserve component state. You also get the benefits of static generation and server-side rendering, which are much faster than client-side rendering. We'll cover that in a second here. And you also get static file serving, which is great for hosting quick things for your web page, such as logos or favicons, different things like that. But you still would want to use a tool like AWS to host more intensive resources. So server-side versus client-side rendering. Create React app is how most React apps are built. That uses client-side rendering. Essentially, your server is going to talk to your browser, browser's going to download the code, browser's going to run React, then you can see the page. Next uses server-side rendering. Server's going to talk to the browser, browser renders the pre-rendered HTML that Next created immediately, page is visible. Meanwhile, browser still is downloading the JS code and then running React to make the page interactive, completing the hydration process we mentioned earlier. So that's what makes client server-side rendering faster. I kind of pulled on some resources from a blog I found here, running speed tests. Essentially testing the same code base between Create React App and Next.js, and straddling performance intentionally so. And the end results were that Next.js was much faster than Create React App. As you can see here, it took 6.5 seconds to load a page in a stressed context versus 0.8 for Next. So ultimately every tool has its purpose. Next.js is an opinionated framework. If you don't agree with it, there's other tools out there. You can still use Create React App. But I think Next.js has a lot of great benefits to it and speed-wise. I have a link here to their basic tutorial, which is great for getting you to understand Next. These are some of the sources I looked at for this Next documentation, React documentation, a few blogs, just to kind of get some resources, a better sense of what we're working on. And lastly here, I just want to show a quick demo. So this is just running the dev command, starting up the browser real quick. You can see the scripts. And you can see the page we're loading into here is very simple code from that Next demo I recommended to you guys. And then, yeah, you can see here the page is quickly rendered, and we have some dynamic links that are being generated with parameters just in that fast Next way. So that's kind of what's awesome about Next. And yeah, hope this was a useful presentation for you guys. Thanks.